Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Eric McLeod here for LowBlowRadio podcast. I'm going to bring you a quick little blow-by-blow of AEW's Dark episode 71. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I thought I'd bring this back. We kicked off this Dark with Luchasaurus taking on Brandon Cutler. This match has been built on BTE over the last couple of weeks. If you've been seeing that, been quite the entertaining little bits between these two, and led to a pretty good back and forth. Brandon Cutler coming off quite a bit of wins in the later half of his Dark career last year, finally leaving Peter Avalon and getting some wins there. This is his first loss, I think, in a while since kind of getting on that roll there, losing to Luchasaurus here, but not taking him back by any means. Certainly in there in the match with Luchasaurus, a good back and forth between these two, not kicking out in the end. So Luchasaurus really had to put him away with the knee. Definitely put Cutler over quite a bit and made Luchasaurus look like a monster. Coming up next, we had Sammy Guevara defeating El Australiano, who we saw, I believe, last week on Dark, making his debut, teaming with it might have been Fuego del Sol. I can't quite remember, but this was his first solo match. He's a Australian-born, fighting in Mexico City. Kind of a Fandango-esque ring move set, I guess, with the dancing and things like that. But a decent mix with Sammy Guevara here, and a great singles win for Sammy leading into the triple tag match that we're going to get on Dark or on Dynamite coming up. So a nice singles match for him, keeping him busy in the singles division. Also keeping busy in the singles division, Scorpio Sky returning to Dark, taking on Nick Camarado, defeating him in a really good back and forth. I like when they can put Scorpio against some of these bigger guys, so you can see what he would do against a different size talent. He doesn't always have to be people his size or smaller when he's kind of the on the weaker end of the strength side of things. It's neat to see what he does with a bigger opponent. So Nick Camarado been around here on Dark for a couple of months now, actually, kind of changing his look up a little bit here, coming into his own. Finding him quite a good enhancement guy here on Dark. One of my favorites also, Marty Donnelly taking on Shayna on in the next match. Marty Daniels, sorry, has been around for a little bit here on Dark, more in tag team matches, I believe. And this was another singles match from her taking on the returning Shayna, who is looking better and better as the weeks go on. If I had to make a little criticisms here about Shayna, I think she just she maybe needs to develop a character before she starts doing the cosplay look stuff. I mean, it's a little too much Dragon Ball Z attire to maybe reflect too much about her as a character itself, but she's getting over nonetheless. So great to see her back here on Dark. Next match, we had the Butcher and the Blade taking on Mike Vertina and Baron Black. Baron has been a bit of a staple here on Dark for quite a while. Mike Vieira, a bit of a new name, but certainly making his presence felt in this match. Butcher and the Blade looking fantastic, getting back into action here. Getting a big win and looking devastating as always. Another tag match. We had a 6-man with Ryzen, Adam Priest, and Very Morales teaming up to take on the Gun Club. And I believe since I had been doing these the last time, the Gun Club was just Billy and Austin, and now they've added the other son, Colton, to the group. So he's been definitely getting his reps in, getting some work in. They're perfect for Dark. I don't think quite Dynamite ready, but a great entertaining thing to see here on Dark for sure. John Cruz teaming with Danny Limelight to take on Santana and Ortiz as well. A nice kind of mix of Puerto Rican wrestlers here, as well as John Cruz hitting the mix. He's actually doing double duties tonight, as we will see later on. But Danny Limelight, real standout guy. I think I really enjoyed the match that he got to have on Dynamite a couple of weeks ago in the 6-man. And really good showing here against Santana and Ortiz. But of course, they walk away with the win, looking big and looking strong. Before we get to the next match, Peter Avalon came out to let everyone know about his pageant I'm not going to get all the alliteration names down properly for this, but he's continuing with his Pretty Peter Avalon pageant. Lee Johnson seeming to be the top front runner of his list right now, challenging Lee to a walk-off next week. So we will see what happens with that. I kind of like when they're extending some stories on Dark. It doesn't just have to be matches. We're actually getting real moments and things that are happening as well to kind of further things along, telling some stories. Speaking of Lee Johnson teaming with Aaron Solo, they came out next to take on the Private Party with Matt Hardy. This is definitely getting over that other side of Private Party. This new kind of heelish side of them, and them taking the advice from Matt Hardy, and it was sort of affecting the match where they were trying to utilize stuff and then being, underestimating their opponents in a certain way and really putting Lee Johnson and Aaron Solo over, which is all I kind of thought the match was. You were sort of leaning into this heel side of Private Party while they're also trying to, get push Lee and Aaron Solo as well in this kind of narrative. Totally, shocker to me that later on in this same evening, when I was watching Dark, I flip over to Impact Wrestling and see Private Party fighting there as well. So I think this was a great way, once again, to get them into a different feel before they were obviously moving to do some different stuff. And Matt Hardy being a great element at play with them there. I felt they were getting a little stale, but I think with Matt Hardy here leaning into a heel turn from them will be quite fantastic and a great kind of working partnership. Coming up next, we had Alex Garcia taking on Big Swole. Not a lot of female matches tonight. It's surprising. We sometimes are stacked with them, and not tonight, but still a fair bit of good ones here. Big Swole looking fantastic. She's got one of my favorite headbutts in the biz. I think maybe it's just the way her hair swings with it, but her timing is getting down really, really well with that. Really enjoyed that. And Alex Garcia, has been looking really fantastic. A great new addition to the Dark team there. But I could totally see them maybe wanting to give her a contract eventually. Sonny Kiss taking on Zack Clayton in the next match. Great to see Sonny here. This obviously must have been before the injury. I believe he is injured right now. But looking great in this match. Always great to see Sonny on the TV. Top Flight were in their matchup next. These young high-flying kids taking on Casey Navarro and AJ Kirsch. Casey Navarro, I'd seen a couple of weeks ago in the Impact Super X Cup tournament. Really caught my eyes in that tournament, and great to see him appearing here on Dark. And the perfect kind of matchups here for Top Flight. Just this was a whole ring full of young up and coming talents. If you wanted to see what the future of some wrestling talent can be, this was certainly the match to check out for that. Top Flight coming out with the win and looking great. Katina Perez teaming with Tessa Price to take on Diamante and Ivelisse. They looked really, really strong in this match. Once again, really enjoying that tag team. And at least I have a platform here to say it, so I'm not just saying it to my friends. I really think that's the team that'll be taking on Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz, who Fire and Flavor, who just won the Impact tag team titles. I think it's a perfect crossover. I mentioned earlier with the Private Party thing already coming over to Impact. I could see Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan coming over to Dynamite to challenge Diamante and Ivelisse, something like that. I think it'd be really, really cool. So great showing for them here. Really hoping for a lot more from Diamante and Ivelisse down the road. Coming up, hey, this was the people's main event. Maybe not the main event of the show, but certainly some people's favorite. Fuego del Sol, who's become the new star here on Dark, teaming with Captain Sean Dean as they took on the Acclaimed, who have become one of my new favorite tag teams. I think they, as I mentioned, the Private Party feeling a little bit stale when the Acclaimed came along. They turned things around for me for some of these new up-and-coming teams. I really enjoyed their in-ring skills as well as their ability to cut promos on the mic. It's a two-facet game, and maybe that's something that Private Party's a little bit weaker on, where they can sort of show their a little bit better in that situation. But a great showing here. Fuego del Sol certainly getting more and more over. Still hasn't got that contract, but maybe once he hits that tornado DDT, we'll finally get the finish out of him. But our actual main event here, because the Acclaimed walked away with the win there. But the big main event, the returning Lucha Bros, Pentel Zero M teaming with Phoenix, which we haven't seen in a while, taking on Chaos Project, which is Luther and Serpentico. And as I mentioned, someone doing double duties earlier, a little hint on the nose there. John Cruz is Serpentico, so nice to see him getting a little bit dual paychecks here on this show. Chaos Project looking, all kinds of evil and weird and crazy in this match, and Phoenix and Penta looking absolutely strong and devastating. Like I mentioned, great to see them teaming again. We'd seen them more in single stuff as of late, and I kind of thought maybe they were getting ready to move them apart, which I was all for. I think they're great single stars, but you almost forget how great they are as a tag team as well when you see them in a match like this. So all for it. A great episode of Dark, not one of their huge stacked ones. 14 matches is still plenty, but not the crazy long ones they've had, but certainly longer than they've been. But hopefully this little recap was a little bit easier for you to drink in and get an idea of what Dark was like. And I'll be back to do another one of these next week, I hope. Gonna keep trying this kind of thing out, but we'll be back with our normal Low Blow Radio podcast with Chris and myself. It'll be up probably tomorrow when we do our blow by blow of AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. Anyways, enough rambling. You can catch the podcast on Sounder and all other kind of podcast listening platforms as it gets extended out from there. Here on YouTube, you can like, share, and subscribe this video with all your friends. Hit the little bell, lets you know when new videos are coming up, and I'll be back to do another one of these dark blow by blows next time here on Low Blow Radio Podcast.